Welcome to Garden Ideas, where creativity blooms in every corner of your yard. Today, we're diving into the art of transformation, turning humble plastic bottles into stunning pots, glowing lamps, and one-of-a-kind garden decorations that anyone can make. You'll discover ideas that are simple, colorful, and surprisingly practical, perfect for giving your outdoor space a fresh, personal look without breaking the bank. Every design in this video follows a warm philosophy. Reuse what you have, add a touch of imagination, and watch your garden change before your eyes. From a hanging strawberry planter to a whimsical bird feeder, these projects will inspire you to see beauty where others see waste. If these ideas spark your creativity, be sure to subscribe to Garden Ideas and join our growing community of makers and dreamers. Together, we'll keep sharing creations that are as kind to the earth as they are to the soul. There's a quiet joy in watching strawberries grow where they've never grown before, dangling in midair, swaying gently in the afternoon breeze. In this humble backyard, a simple fence has been transformed into a living wall, stitched together not by expensive planters, but by bottles once destined for the bin. Each plastic shell has been cut, shaped, and threaded in a neat vertical line, now cradling soil like a careful palm. The green crowns of strawberry plants spill out, catching sunlight on their fine, serrated edges. Among them, tiny white flowers promise sweetness to come, and here and there, a plump berry blushes red. The sight feels both ordinary and magical, proof that beauty doesn't require perfection, only care. The secret lies in balance. Bottles are hung so water drips from the top planter to the one below, making every drop count. The roots stay cool, the leaves stay fresh, and the fruit swells slowly, kissed by the sun each day. In the early mornings, the air is cool and the leaves shimmer with dew, a sign that the night has been kind. It's the kind of project that asks for very little. A few used bottles, some cords, soil, and seedlings, yet gives back more than you expect. A fence that once stood plain now hums with life and color. And each time you pluck a berry, sweet and warm from the sun, you remember this was made by your own hands, from something the world had already given up on. When the sun dips below the horizon, the garden changes its voice. The rustle of leaves softens, the colors fade, and the air turns cooler. But here along the winding path, the light does not leave. Instead, it gathers in small bottles, each one glowing like a pocket of warmth against the evening. These lanterns began life as ordinary plastic bottles, once carrying water or juice without a second thought. Now, their sides are brushed with translucent paints, blues, ambers, greens, that transform the simple LED inside into a warm, dapple glow. Cutout shapes scatter the light across gravel and grass, making every step along the path feel like part of a quiet celebration. They're powered by little LED bulbs, sipping energy gently, some even fed by tiny solar panels tucked nearby. The trick is in spacing, close enough to guide your way, far enough to let the darkness breathe between them. The bottles hang from hooks, stand on stakes, or rest directly on the ground, each placement changing the way the light spills. On a still night, you might find yourself walking slower, letting your eyes linger on each soft halo of color. These lights don't shout for attention. They hum quietly, asking only that you notice them. And perhaps, as you follow their glow, you realize that beauty can come from the smallest transformation. A bottle, a bulb, and the patience to see potential in what others pass by. In the far corner of the garden, laughter lingers even when no one's around. It's where the world shrinks to the size of small hands, bright paints, and playful shapes. Here, recycled bottles have become something entirely new. Not just pots, but characters. A fox with a mischievous grin, a bunny with soft pink ears, a panda with wide, curious eyes. Each one holds a living crown of green leaves or cheerful blooms. The process is as much about the making as the result. Bottles are washed, cut carefully so the top becomes ears or rounded heads. Then comes the painting. Thick strokes of acrylic bringing fur, whiskers, and smiles to life. Children's fingers leave marks here and there, imperfections that make each pot feel personal, almost alive. Inside, soil cradles marigolds, basil, or tiny strawberry plants. Their roots grow deep into a space once used to hold soda or cooking oil, now a little home for something tender. When the wind blows, the leaves sway above painted faces, making them look as if they're nodding in approval. This corner isn't just decoration. It's a lesson in patience, in giving old things a second life, in making something joyful out of what was once ordinary. Kids visit often, watering their pet pots and checking for new flowers or sprouting leaves. And maybe years later, they'll remember this, the way a bottle, some paint, and a touch of imagination could turn a garden into a playground for the heart. Against the plain wall at the back of the yard, life now grows in ordered rows. What was once just weathered brick or faded plaster has been dressing green, a patchwork of plants held by bottles that used to carry nothing more than water or soda. Each bottle, cut open along its side, has become a cradle for roots. Some hold the soft green of basil, others the sharper scent of mint. Between them, bursts of flowers, marigold yellow, petunia purple, weave color into the tapestry. The design is simple, but the effect is rich. Bottles are mounted horizontally, staggered so leaves cascade without crowding. Their curves catch sunlight, glinting in the afternoon like glass even though they're humble plastic. Soil stays snug inside, water from the top, so it trickles gently down to the lower rows. It's more than just practical, though it does make harvesting herbs as easy as reaching out a hand while you cook. It's also an act of quiet transformation, a way of letting something forgotten serve again and beautifully. Standing here, you hear the faint buzz of bees weaving between blossoms, feel the soft scent of herbs mixing in the warm air. This wall does more than hold plants. It holds a reminder that space can always grow something new, and that even the smallest container, if treated with care, can carry a garden. Some gardens grow only when you're there to tend them. Others, like these small bottle pots, learn to take care of themselves. It's a clever design, simple enough to put together in minutes, yet graceful in how it keeps life going without constant attention. A bottle is cut in two. The top, now a funnel, is placed upside down into the bottom half. Between them runs a cotton wick, a quiet bridge carrying water from the reservoir below to the soil above. The plant drinks as it needs, no more, no less. There's no waste, no parched mornings after you forget to water. In the clear plastic, you can see everything. Roots curling through the soil, tiny bubbles rising in the water, droplets clinging to the inside on hot days. It's like watching the whole rhythm of growth in a glass case. Basil, mint, small flowers, or even baby lettuce take to these pots easily. They sit neatly on a kitchen windowsill, a balcony ledge, or a sunny garden bench. And when the reservoir runs low, it's as simple as pouring in a little more water, knowing the plant will sip it slowly over the next few days. This isn't just a trick for forgetful gardeners. It's a small kindness to your plants, a way of giving them what they need, even when life pulls you elsewhere. And in return, they grow steady and sure, a quiet green promise in a bottle you once thought was empty. Some fences stand simply to mark a boundary. Others, like this one, bloom with life and color, turning a plain stretch of wood into a gallery of living art. Each recycled bottle has been painted in a bold hue, sunflower yellow, sky blue, deep crimson. The paint isn't perfect. Brush marks show where the color is layered thick, little flecks where the sun has worn it thin. But that's part of the charm. Inside each bottle, soil holds the roots of bright marigolds, petunias, or trailing vines. The flowers spill outward, their colors clashing and dancing against the painted backdrop. The effect is instant cheer, the kind that makes you smile without meaning to as you walk past. The bottles hang from simple hooks, wire loops, or even twine. Their placement matters, close enough for fullness, space enough for each plant to grow freely. The paint not only brightens the scene, but also protects the plastic from the sun, giving these planters a longer life. There's joy in the making, too. An afternoon with a set of paints, a few old bottles, and the freedom to choose any color you like. In the end, it's not just a fence anymore. It's a wall that greets the day with flowers and color, made from what was once forgotten. Proof that beauty often begins in the simplest places. As the evening settles, the patio becomes a softer world. The air cools, the colors fade to gentle tones, and then one by one, the bottle lamps begin to glow. They are simple in form, yet carry the warmth of something made by hand. Each bottle, once a vessel for water or soda, now holds a small bulb or string of LEDs transforming into a lantern that casts a golden light across the table. Some bottles are left clear, letting the light spill freely. Others are tinted in amber, green, or blue, their colors deepening as night falls. Cut-out shapes in the plastic throw patterned shadows over the patio floor, dancing gently when the wind stirs. They hang from beams, rest along railings, or cluster in the center of the table like an informal chandelier. The light they give is not harsh, but welcoming, bright enough to see your plate, soft enough to linger without feeling rushed. The magic is in their quiet presence. They ask for little, a few tools to cut and smooth the plastic, a low-heat LED source, maybe a coat of paint or polish. In return, they turn every evening into an occasion. Here, conversations stretch longer. The glow reflects in the curve of a glass, in the leaves of nearby plants, in the eyes of those sitting close. And when the night finally ends, you realize it isn't just a light you'll remember, but the way it made the place feel alive. The morning is never quiet here. Not since the bird feeders went up. What was once just a branch swaying gently in the breeze now carries a gift for the feathered guests who visit daily. The feeders are simple things, made from bottles that once held nothing more than water or juice. Now, they're filled with sunflower seeds, millet, and cracked corn, each seed a small invitation. 2 wooden sticks pierce the bottle's sides, forming tiny perches where sparrows, finches, and sometimes even a curious dove can rest. The plastic is clear, so the birds see exactly what's waiting inside, and when they land, they peck with quick, eager movements, scattering the soft sound of shells tapping against the feeder. They hang from twine or wire, swaying lightly when the wind moves through. Sometimes, the morning sun catches on the bottle's surface, making it glint like glass. Other times, rain leaves drops that beat along its curves, turning the feeder into a little lantern of water. This project doesn't just feed the birds. It brings the garden to life. Their fluttering wings stir the air, their calls weave into the sound of leaves, and their presence turns an ordinary yard into a small sanctuary. It's an act of giving that costs almost nothing. A used bottle, a couple of sticks, and a handful of seed. Yet the return is endless. A chorus in the mornings, a burst of movement in the afternoons, and the quiet joy of knowing you've made a place where wild things feel welcome. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary garden bench. But look closer, and you'll see a clever secret tucked beneath the wooden seat. Rows of plastic bottles, each one fitting snugly in place like a hidden backbone. The bottles, once carrying drinks from store to home, now serve a second purpose. They're lightweight yet strong when packed together, creating a firm, springy base that supports the weight above. The wooden frame is simple, just sanded planks joined with sturdy screws. But the bottles inside give it character and a story. Sunlight glints off their curved sides, catching faint scratches and tiny air bubbles frozen in the plastic. Some are clear, others tinted green or blue, creating a subtle patchwork beneath the bench. Over time, dust and leaves gather around them, making the bench feel even more like it belongs to the garden. It's not just a seat, it's a conversation starter. Guests sit down and notice the texture below, leaning to peek under, surprised by the idea. The bench stays strong through seasons, and if a bottle ever cracks or flattens, it's easy to replace. A quiet reminder that durability doesn't always come from costly materials. In the shade of an old tree or along a sunny patio, this bench becomes a place to pause, to watch the day move, and to rest knowing that even what was once waste can hold you up, literally. In one corner of the garden stands a sculpture, not of stone or metal, but of plastic bottles, shaped into a tower of green. Each level holds a cluster of succulents, their plump leaves catching the sun like tiny reservoirs of light. The structure rises from a simple base, each bottle carefully cut, inverted, and fixed in place, so that water from the top seeps gently down to the lower levels. No drop is wasted, and the plants thrive in the slow, shared rhythm of moisture. The bottles vary in size and color, creating a patchwork that feels as alive as the plants it holds. Succulents are patient companions for such a design. They ask for little, a bit of soil, occasional watering, yet they give much in return. Their shapes are like living jewels, rosettes of pale green, spiky bursts of deep burgundy, smooth pads flecked with silver. Against the humble plastic, they stand out all the more. Over time, the tower becomes a miniature ecosystem, Small spiders weave webs between leaves. A ladybug explores the edges, and sometimes, in the early morning, dew pearls along the bottle rims. It's a quiet reminder that beauty doesn't need grandeur. It can rise from the simplest materials and still command attention. Visitors pause here, running their fingers over the fleshy leaves, asking how it's made. And you smile, because the answer is easy. It's made from what was once forgotten, stacked into something worth remembering. The wind doesn't ask for decoration, but it accepts it gladly. In this garden, it plays with bottle wind spinners, sending them turning with a soft, steady rhythm. Each spinner began as an empty bottle, cut into curling blades that catch the air, painted in colors bright enough to rival any flower. They flicker and whirl against the backdrop of green leaves. When the sun is high, light flashes across their curves, and when clouds pass, they spin more lazily, as if resting between dances. The colors, reds, blues, yellows, blur together when the wind is strong, creating a small wheel of motion that makes the garden feel alive even in still moments. They hang easily from tree branches, fence posts, or pergola beams, swaying gently when there's no gust to push them. Rain leaves a sheen on the paint, the drops sliding down each blade before falling to the ground below. Over time, the plastic softens under the sun. The colors fade slightly, but even that weathered look adds a kind of charm. There's no silence when they spin. A faint, whispering swish accompanies their motion, blending with the rustle of leaves and distant bird calls. It's a decoration that needs no tending, no watering, just a little breeze. And in exchange, it offers movement, color, and the simple joy of watching something you made turn light and air into a performance. At night, the garden transforms into a place that feels just a step away from a dream. Tucked among the flowers and shrubs are soft orbs of light, each one born from something as ordinary as a plastic bottle. The bottles have been cut, shaped, and smoothed until they resemble simple globes, then filled with fairy lights that seem to hum quietly in the dark. The glow they give is gentle, not the kind that floods a garden, but the kind that invites you to wander slowly, noticing the way shadows fall between petals and leaves. When the wind moves, branches sway, and the light dances in small ripples across the ground. Some of the globes rest on the soil, half hidden by foliage, while others hang from branches or pergola beams, floating like tiny moons. Their cords are thin and discreet, powered by a battery tucked neatly out of sight. They are not meant to last forever. Over time, the plastic may dull, the lights may dim, but even in their fading, there's a softness to them, like memories that still glow faintly long after the night has passed. Making them is as much a pleasure as seeing them lit. A bottle, a string of lights, and a bit of patience to cut and smooth the edges. And when they're done, you place them wherever the garden feels too dark, and the result is always the same: a little more magic, a little more warmth, and a quiet feeling that you've made the night kinder. The best kind of watering is the kind that happens even when you're not there. In this garden, the bottles do the work. Simple, upturned containers delivering water drop by drop into the thirsty roots below. Each one is filled, capped with a few tiny holes, and pressed into the soil beside a plant. The result is quiet and patient, a slow drink that keeps the earth moist without drowning it. In the midday heat, when the sun is high and the air hangs heavy, the soil around these bottles stays cool and dark. The plants don't wilt. Their leaves remain open and firm, catching the light without curling at the edges. Tomatoes swell in their clusters, lettuce stays crisp, and peppers hold their shine. The bottles themselves tell their history. Faint label marks, slight scratches, the curve of a brand long since emptied. They've traded one use for another, and in doing so, they become essential. This method asks for little: a clean bottle, a nail or needle to make holes, and a decision to place it where roots can reach. Yet it saves time, saves water, and makes tending a garden less about rushing and more about watching it grow. There's comfort in knowing that while you're away, at work, inside, cooking, or even sleeping, your plants are still cared for. It's gardening made simpler, but no less beautiful, and a reminder that sometimes the smallest, slowest efforts give the richest rewards. In the gentle sway of the afternoon breeze, the bottle planters move like pendulums of green. Each one is cradled in a net of knotted rope, macrame patterns twisting and looping to hold them steady. One simple plastic bottles. They now dangle gracefully, their roots and leaves framed by the soft texture of jute or cotton cord. The plants inside vary. Some spill down in waterfalls of ivy. Others rise upward with proud, leafy stems. From below, you can see the bottle's curve catching light, small air bubbles and faint scratches telling the story of its past life. The macrame holds it snug, yet leaves just enough room for the bottle to breathe, to let soil and water work quietly together. They hang from beams, tree branches, or even curtain rods near sunny windows. The height keeps them safe from pests and gives trailing plants room to stretch downward without interruption. The making is as satisfying as the hanging. Knot by knot, the rope comes together under your hands, each twist securing not just the bottle, but the intention behind it, to turn something discarded into something that feels deliberate and beautiful. By evening, when the light turns gold, the shadows of rope and leaves dance together on the wall. It's a reminder that a garden doesn't have to grow from the ground. Sometimes it blooms in the air, held by the simplest of threads. In the center of the garden, something stands that draws every eye. It isn't a statue carved from stone or cast in metal, but sculpture built from bottles, bright, curved, and unexpectedly elegant. The plastic catches the sunlight, scattering color reflections onto the ground, and with each passing hour, the display changes as the light shifts. The shapes vary. Some bottles are cut into petals, their edges soften into gentle curves, layered to form a giant flower that never wilts. Others are sliced and twisted into spirals, wings, or abstract patterns that invite you to see something new each time you look. Bits of green, clear, and amber plastic mingle, like a mosaic you can walk around. These sculptures aren't just decoration, they're conversation. Guests pause, leaning closer to guess how each piece was cut, how the parts fit together. From a distance, they seem like glass, but up close, the imperfections tell their true story. The faint ridges of bottlenecks, the soft marks of scissors or heat. Placed among plants, they stand as bold companions to nature's own designs. In a bed of marigolds, a towering bottle sunflower feels right at home. Beside a pond, a bottle dragonfly hovers eternally, its wings catching the breeze just enough to shimmer. It's art born from resourcefulness, proof that beauty doesn't demand expensive materials. And as the seasons pass, the sculpture changes with them, always part of the garden's life, always holding the memory of hands that turn the ordinary into the extraordinary.